Most women over 60 are wearing dresses cut in ways that don't suit their figure at all, and that is not their fault. Nobody has explained to them that many of the style tips circulating on the internet were developed for women half their age, with entirely different expectations when it comes to clothing and fit. But that is changing now, because there are 7 very specific dress styles that achieve something almost nobody talks about. They distribute the visual proportions so harmoniously that the midsection is no longer the first thing others notice, and no longer the first thing you notice yourself. No constant stomach tucking. No complicated layered looks that make you appear twice as wide. No shapewear you want to rip off the moment you walk through the front door. Just 7 dresses that genuinely work. And dress number 4 is completely overlooked by most women, which is precisely why it is so effective. Before we start, anyone who has ever stood in front of their wardrobe and felt like nothing fits quite the way it should anymore should subscribe to the channel right now and also hit the bell. Because every week, there are tips here that will genuinely make a difference to your wardrobe. Now let's get started. Dress number 1, the wrap dress. Let's start with a dress that has been quietly working small miracles for decades, the wrap dress. Before you roll your eyes and think you already know this classic, stay with it for just a moment. Because many women don't wear the wrap dress correctly, and that's precisely why it doesn't achieve the desired effect for them. A wrap dress creates a diagonal line that runs across the body, and it's exactly this diagonal that makes all the difference. It guides the eye in a direction that makes the entire figure appear naturally slimmer and longer. But here comes the point that almost no one explains properly. The wrap effect needs to sit in the right place. Not necessarily at the natural waist, which is often positioned a little higher, but slightly below it, closer to the point where the upper body looks most harmonious. When the wrap sits there, it creates the impression of a clearly defined silhouette, without anything feeling constricting or uncomfortably tight. For women over 60, a wrap dress works best when it's made from a fabric that flows softly, rather than clinging to the body. Jersey, matte crepe, and soft polyester blends are particularly great companions for this. These materials move with the body, rather than working against it. Wrap dresses made from very stiff fabrics or with a heavily shiny surface, on the other hand, are better avoided. Shiny materials reflect light and often draw attention precisely to the areas you'd prefer to keep a little more understated. A money-saving tip. A well-fitting wrap dress from the mid-price range, in a solid color or with a small, subtle pattern, does exactly what it's supposed to. No expensive designer label required. Dress number 2. The fit and flare dress. This silhouette never stops surprising, and that is exactly why it absolutely belongs on this list. A fit and flare dress fits more closely through the upper body and gradually widens from the waist or hips downward. What this means for the midsection, because the skirt already flares out and carries more volume, the eye does not linger on the stomach area but automatically moves on. The flared shape becomes the defining element of the silhouette, while the midsection is simply perceived as a harmonious transition between the bodice and the skirt. The most important detail is the point at which the fullness begins. For women over 60 who want to minimize the appearance of their stomach, the flare should ideally start at the hip bone or just below it, not at the natural waist. If the fullness begins too high, the fabric can actually push outward right at the stomach area. If it starts a little lower, however, the volume only emerges below that zone. This allows the dress to offer both coverage and a beautiful, clearly defined shape at the same time. A fit and flare dress in midi length, meaning a style that ends somewhere between the knee and the ankle, is particularly flattering. The extra length creates a long, almost uninterrupted vertical line that makes the entire body appear taller and slimmer. When it comes to fabric, structured materials with a bit of body are ideal. Ponte fabric, scuba, and firmer cotton blends hold their shape and are less likely to collapse or cling to the body the way very thin materials tend to do. Dress number 3. The shirt dress. The shirt dress is one of the most underestimated dress styles of all, and many women over 60 pay far too little attention to it. Here's why it works so well. A shirt dress has a certain structure from the shoulders downward. This means it doesn't follow every curve of the body, but instead plays loosely around the figure. That small distance between the fabric and the body, especially around the waist, creates a flattering effect. Rather than mapping the figure one-to-one, the dress forms its own clean, distinct silhouette. Particularly beneficial for the stomach area are shirt dresses with a full-length button placket down the front, which can be worn slightly open from the hip downward. This visually transforms the lower part of the dress into an A-line shape. At the same time, a vertical line is created along the front of the dress, and vertical lines almost always make the figure look taller and more elongated. A shirt dress can also be worn with a belt, but only when the belt sits loosely and comfortably. You should never cinch it so tightly that the fabric puckers, pulls, or visibly bunches around the stomach area. A loosely worn belt just below the bust, in the empire position, often works considerably better. It emphasizes the narrowest part of the torso while giving the stomach plenty of room at the same time. One more style tip. Shirt dresses made from chambray, linen, or cotton poplin are particularly well suited. They hold a beautiful structure without appearing stiff, and they look polished and elegant both with flat sandals and with low heels. Dress number 4. The cold shoulder or off-shoulder maxi dress. This dress probably surprises most women the most. As soon as attention is drawn upward to the shoulders, the collarbone, and the neckline, the eye automatically moves away from the middle of the body. An off-shoulder or cold shoulder maxi dress achieves exactly this effect, while at the same time offering the coverage of a long, unbroken silhouette. The maxi length plays a crucial role here. Since the dress reaches all the way to the floor, or nearly to the floor, the body is perceived as one long, cohesive shape. Nothing interrupts that line, and because of that, there is no single area where the eye lingers particularly strongly. The stomach simply becomes part of a long, elegant overall silhouette. For women over 60, an off-shoulder neckline can also look particularly beautiful because it emphasizes the décolletage and the shoulders, areas that often remain graceful and clearly defined even in later years. However, off-shoulder styles with very tight elastic bands across the chest should be avoided. Such styles are often uncomfortable, dig in, and can create unflattering bulges above the band. They are also usually difficult to wear comfortably for several hours at a time. Better options are dresses with a wider, looser neckline that rests gently on the shoulders rather than constricting them. When it comes to colors and patterns, solid colored dresses and vertically running prints work particularly well with maxi dresses. Large horizontal patterns placed directly across the middle of the body, on the other hand, can undo the entire elongating effect of the silhouette. Dress number 5. The empire waist dress. If there is one dress style that was almost made to gently skim over the stomach area, it is this one. A dress with an empire waist has its seam directly below the bust. From there, the fabric falls loosely and straight downward, flowing softly around the waist and stomach. Nothing clings to the midsection at all. That is precisely where the special effect lies. The dress is defined at the highest and at the same time slimmest point of the upper body, namely directly below the bust. Everything below that looks relaxed, balanced, and proportional. Nothing pulls or digs in at the stomach, because the dress does not follow the contours of that area closely in the first place. For women over 60, this cut is particularly comfortable, because it can be worn for many hours without creating any compression on the body. You can eat, sit, walk, and move freely in it without constantly having to readjust anything. The styling secret lies in the fabric. An empire waist dress made from a flowing material such as chiffon, georgette, or viscose drapes beautifully around the body. A simple pendant necklace pairs perfectly with it, drawing the eye further upward. The result is an effortlessly elegant outfit that requires very little effort at all. Empire waist dresses are available in almost every price range. Solid colored styles or fine, understated patterns often look considerably more luxurious than their actual price would suggest. Dress number 6, the trapeze dress. Many women may have never heard this name, even though they have probably seen such a dress many times. They may even have walked right past it, thinking this cut was not for them. That is precisely a misconception worth correcting. A trapeze dress fits relatively close to the body at the shoulders and neckline, then gradually widens into a broad A shape all the way down to the hem. The waist is not emphasized at all. Instead, a generous, flowing silhouette is created that loosely skims everything from the chest downward. At first, this may sound as though the dress could look tent-like, but that is exactly what does not have to be the case. The reason is simple, because the shape clearly originates from the shoulders and deliberately opens up toward the bottom. The dress looks modern, intentional, and almost architectural. It reads as a deliberate fashion choice, not as an attempt to hide something. This difference is enormously important. When you wear a dress that looks intentional and stylish, you automatically wear it with more confidence, and confidence changes the entire effect of an outfit. For women over 60, the A-line dress is also one of the most comfortable options on this list. Apart from a gentle fit at the shoulders, nothing sits tightly against the body. A styling tip: since the silhouette is somewhat fuller around the body, accessories should be kept rather simple. At the same time, the footwear can visually elongate the figure slightly. A low block heel or a wedge sandal adds extra length to the legs and balances out the volume of the dress in a particularly harmonious way. Dress number 7. The dark bodycon dress with strategically placed panels. This final dress will surprise some women, and that is precisely why it made this list. Bodycon dresses have a reputation for being unsuitable for women over 60, or more generally for women who want to conceal the midsection area a little. However, that reputation is not universally accurate, provided you know exactly what to look for. A bodycon dress with targeted color blocking or strategically placed panels uses contrast to visually reshape the silhouette. Particularly effective are darker panels that run vertically along the sides of the torso. Dark side panels make the middle of the body appear slimmer. A darker center panel combined with lighter sides, on the other hand, can visually elongate the figure and create a more slender appearance. The dress does not hide the body. Instead, it directs attention through a clever placement of colors. This effect works because the human eye automatically follows strong contrasts. When light and dark areas are deliberately arranged, the design essentially draws a more flattering silhouette directly onto the dress. That is why it is crucial to find a style where the panels suit your own body shape. When searching, terms like color block bodycon dress, dress with shaping panels, or midi dress with contour panels can be helpful. They often lead to styles that work specifically with this optical effect. A midi version of this cut, reaching roughly to the middle of the calf, is usually the most elegant and flattering option for women over 60. That covers all 7 dresses completely. 7 silhouettes that truly work. No shapewear, no complicated guesswork, and no spending a fortune. The wrap dress, the fit and flare dress, the shirt dress, the off-shoulder maxi dress, the empire waist dress, the trapeze dress, and the bodycon dress with strategically placed panels. Each of these dresses works in a slightly different way, but they all share the same goal. They give you more control over what people notice when they look at you. Now let me know in the comments, which of these 7 dresses would you try first? If this video was helpful, please leave a like before you go. It only takes 2 seconds and it helps me keep creating exactly this kind of content. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you'll find the button right here.